Look at the men in yellow on the deck. They had absolutely no warning. None of the people in this footage did. Mother Nature doesn't announce herself. She simply arrives, faster than anyone can react. That is the pattern we see all around this planet, from the ground collapsing without a sound, to a shadow rising from the deep. Watch closely. The moment everything changes, happens in a single second. The Pacific coast of Mexico, in the hours after a tropical storm had already broken apart. The danger was supposed to be over. The sea had not finished. Watch the people on the sand. They are not running yet. They have not understood. Every one of them made it out. No injuries. Ilulissat Ice Fjord on the west coast of Greenland, a World Heritage Site. What you are watching is called calving, a piece of the glacier breaking free. The ice gives no sound of warning. It only makes water, and that water reaches the boats long before anyone can turn. Uchar Nala in Kohistan, Pakistan, July 2022. Geologists call this a debris flow. Not water carrying mud, but mud and rock moving together as one solid body. It reached the bridge and it covered it in a matter of seconds. Reports from the area confirmed that no lives were lost here. The crossing was simply gone.
We should probably go downstairs.
This is not one sea, it is two. When two wave systems meet at right angles, the surface locks into a grid. Sailors call it a cross sea, and it is one of the most dangerous surfaces a small boat can sit on. Beautiful from above, almost impossible to steer through.
Wait. Be careful though, we don't want to go. Ah!
Beihai, China. The car took a direct strike. The driver waited 5 minutes inside, then walked away. Australia. A swimmer goes in the way he has gone in 100 times before. He is not alone. Watch the water to his left. That shape is not a shadow. He reaches the bank. What we know is that he got out. Some water is not ours to enter. They call it water skipping. A snowmobile stays on the surface only while it is fast enough to stay there. And the moment it slows down, the lake stops pretending.
Foda-se.
Ei, filma. Filma aí, que é esquecido de pôr. Se me estás a dormir aqui, que te estás no churrasco.
Yeah? Assim, é para aqui, mexa para cima.
A southern elephant seal, the largest seal on this planet, and a big male can outweigh a small car. The diver moved in closer than he should have, and what happens next takes under 2 seconds. He surfaced unharmed. The animal was never hunting him. It was asking him to leave in the only language it has. A truck begins to go over, and a stranger behind it decides not to drive past.
Oh, it did. What's going on?
Eastern China, the 18th of March. Security footage. The truck crosses the span, and behind it the deck lets go and drops into the river below. A few seconds either way. That is the entire margin. The driver kept going and never knew. Night, heavy rain, a camera mounted on a motorcycle. The strike lands on the road ahead, close enough to light the whole street. 2 seconds earlier, and this would have been a different video. Santa Teresa, Brazil, the morning of the 4th of September, 2025. A log works loose from a truck bed and comes down onto the pavement. The woman walking there had no sound to warn her. She was not hit. That is the whole of her luck.
Ven, Ricky. Quédense adentro, no salgan.
Kayseri, Turkey. Security camera. Headphones in, eyes down, crossing the rails. She never heard the train. She is alive because of distance, not because of warning. Misty Cliffs Road, above Cape Town, South Africa, the 26th of April. The brakes failed somewhere on the descent, and the road ran out before the vehicle did. The driver, 34 years old, survived this. From this angle, watching it happen, that should not be possible. Not every arrival comes from the sky. Some are already under our feet. An iron cover set down slightly out of place, and a woman who put her weight on it the way all of us do, without checking. She caught herself. Most of the things that nearly hurt us are exactly this small. Sinameli Bridge, the Maldives. The afternoon of the 5th of August. This is a road. And then for a few seconds, it is not. Aguiar de Beira, Portugal, the 15th of August, 2025. Firefighters call this a fire whirl. The wind does not put it out, it gives it a shape. Xinjiang, China. Sleet and a road with nothing left to grip. A fuel tanker comes into the curve, and somewhere in it, the trailer stops following the cab. Treasure Island, Fiji. The helicopter is doing everything right. It is the air that changes. Wind lifts it off the pad while it is still light on the skids. All 7 people on board walked away from it. Paradise has weather too.
Oh no! Yeah. Oh no! Oh no!
A full tank, a routine stop, and a few seconds of carelessness on the way back to the car. Fuel does not need much. It needs one mistake, and then it moves faster than anyone standing there can decide what to do about it. Watch the dust, not the truck. Something is already coming toward the camera, and the person holding it does not know yet. Joetsu City, Japan. A magnitude 7.5 earthquake centered 36 kilometers northeast of Onamizu. What you are watching is water pushing up the Seki River, inland, against the current. Rivers are not supposed to run backwards, and for a few minutes on that day, this one did. The sea reached places the sea has no business reaching. Two climbers on an open slope, and above them the mountain begins to shed. Falling rock is why mountain rescue is one of the slowest jobs there is. You cannot hurry across ground that is still moving. They got clear. Shengxia in Zhejiang, Sichuan Province, China. The 20th of July. Street furniture, bicycles, whatever the water finds. It takes all of it at the same speed. Flash flooding does not rise. It arrives already at full strength, and there is no version of this where running is fast enough. Wadi Bani Ghafir in Vilayat Rustak, Oman, the 25th of May, 2025. In a flash flood, waiting feels like the careful choice. It is the opposite of one. The safe minute is the first minute, and by the time it looks dangerous, it is already behind them.
Then they're gonna reach a top speed. Oi, well catch. A top speed around up to 100 kilometers.
The 26th of December, 2004, a magnitude 9.1 earthquake beneath the Indian Ocean. The water that followed reached the Andaman and Nicobar Islands and did not stop. More than 220,000 people were lost. It remains the deadliest natural disaster ever recorded. Wanhua District, Taipei. 1 in the afternoon, the 31st of January. A handbrake left off. That is all it was. The car finds the slope on its own, and a man walking his motorcycle past becomes part of a story he did not choose. Almost nobody ever does. Gizar in Gilgit-Baltistan, Pakistan, the 22nd of August, 2025. A glacier at Toledo gave way. Scientists call this a glacial outburst. Meltwater held back by ice for years until the ice stops holding. The debris came down the valley and blocked the geyser river itself. And a blocked river is not a solved problem. It is a delayed one. Everything downstream of this is now simply waiting. The 11th of March 2011, the coast at Naraha in Fukushima Prefecture, Japan. There is no sudden moment in this footage. That is what makes it hard to watch. The water does not crash, it keeps coming, past the seawall, past the road, past the places people were standing a minute earlier. This is what we said at the beginning. Water does not attack, it arrives. Japan had some of the most advanced warning systems on this planet that day. Sirens sounded, people moved, and still the distance between knowing and reaching high ground was measured in minutes. For thousands of people, those minutes were not enough. We remember this one carefully, not for the scale of it, for how ordinary the streets look, right up until they are gone. The Moose River in Ontario, Canada. This is called an ice shove, river ice breaking up in spring and then pushed up onto the land by the current behind it. There is no flood here, no emergency, nobody is running. This is several months of a frozen river arriving on shore all at once, at walking speed, sounding like something enormous grinding its teeth. Ice does not hurry. It has never needed to. It has already won every argument it has ever had with a riverbank.
Underwater?
Kikura, New Zealand. A fur seal, an octopus it very much wants to eat, and a kayaker in exactly the wrong place. The seal is not attacking anyone. It is eating. The kayakers simply happen to be within arm's reach of dinner.
That was mental! It's still alive too.
Hobart, Tasmania. The 4th of November. Green, purple, and gold above the mountain. This is the Aurora Australis, the southern light, and far fewer people ever get to stand under it. The same planet that does everything else in this video does this as well. Same forces, same indifference. It simply happens to be beautiful this time. Arayapali, near Chhatrapur in Ganjam district. Rough water turns the boat over, and every one of those fishermen swims himself to shore. All of them. No casualties reported. Hold on to that feeling for the next 30 seconds. The Alaskan Dream. King crab season, near Arctic water. 2 men on deck. Yellow, red. Heads down, doing the job. Neither of them is looking up, and what is behind them does not need their attention in order to arrive. None of the people in this video did anything wrong. They were simply somewhere on an ordinary day when something older and larger than them arrived. That is the only lesson water has ever taught us. We are guests here.